are two types of climate change people, the green hairs, as I call them. You know the type, you're a typical liberal that likes to rage against the machine of industry, capitalism, and basic hygiene, the feel the burn type of people. These green hairs, while kooky and delusional, really do believe in saving the planet. They are well-meaning morons, if you will, but I still give them credit. Then there's the other type of climate change warrior I give zero credit to. The stuffy, rich, white liberals who fly around on private jets and don't give a hoot about the actual environment. They just like hearing themselves talk, even if it is straight out of their behind. People like this.
You know, the climate deniers are really in some ways similar to all of those almost 400 law enforcement officers in Uvalde, Texas, who were waiting outside an unlocked door while the children were being massacred. They heard the screams, they heard the gunshots, and nobody stepped forward. And God bless those families who've suffered so much. And law enforcement officials tell us that's not typical of what law enforcement usually does. And confronted with this global emergency, what we're doing with our inaction and failing to walk through the door and stop the killing is not typical of what we are capable of as human beings. We do have the solutions.
Yes, Al Gore really did just compare so-called climate change deniers to the Uvalde police who failed to stop a mass shooter that gunned down and slaughtered 21 children and school teachers. There's comparing apples to oranges. Then there's what you just heard, which is so off base, so tone deaf, so utterly ridiculous. I thought it was a parody when I first read the headline. But this isn't the first time the drama queen of climate change has made inappropriate comparisons between weather and war and tragedy. In his remarks at the World Economic Forum in 2020, Gore compared climate change to Thermopylae, Agincourt, the Battle of the Bulge, Dunkirk, and 9/11. So dramatic, so stupid, so typical Al Gore. It's so easy for these disingenuous hacks who've made their money in politics to turn around and tell blue-collar Americans in blue-collar towns that their industries, livelihoods, and generational jobs should just cease to exist. Easy to say when you're rich and don't rely on these jobs to feed your family, Al. It's funny, though, because I did a little research on Mr. Gore and discovered he has a mansion right outside of Nashville, Tennessee that's over 10,000 square feet and uses about 12 times as much energy as the average homes in the area. I don't know what's more repulsive to discover, his hypocrisy or the fact that he lives in Nashville. Now, there is an inconvenient truth. As a conservative, I want nothing more than to preserve our country, our clean air, and our natural beauty, which is probably why I find it so repugnant to watch all these Californians and big city liberals moving in and buying up land and developments in Tennessee, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, and everywhere else the good Lord blessed with few liberals to begin with. But they pat themselves on the back for growing hobby gardens and driving around in $100,000 Teslas right on up the driveway to their 10,000 square foot energy-sucking mansions that serve as second or third homes for these quacks. So take your climate religion and pound sand. And those are my final thoughts from Nashville. God bless and take care.